All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's presentation of Biotech Breakdown. Again, this is Christian Tharp, and I'm glad to have you with me today. So first, let's do a quick 1-2 of the overall markets. As of right now, you can see here that we have an S&P that is up about 4 or 5 points to start the day, getting close to this 1900 resistance area. We had our peak back in April around 1897, and of course just a few weeks ago we hit 1902. So pausing to think about it here today, but all in all this week we've somewhat had the wind at our backs, so it looks like the market is poised to make a pop to new highs. All right, now the one thing I would say might be standing in our way on that front, of course, is the level we talked about last week with the Dow's 16.6. That has certainly been a tough nut to crack several times over the past few months. The one time we did break through a couple weeks ago, of course, turned out to be somewhat of a false one. So here we are again. The Dow is up about 55 points here so far today, stalling right at that 16.6. So what we'd like to see for the markets to move higher, we certainly like to see a close above this 16.6. And if we do get a nice solid close above that level, we're probably seeing the S&P hit new highs. All right, now as far as the Nasdaq and Russell go, the culprits of most of our sell-offs here recently, Nasdaq is looking pretty good. When we had our sell-off last week, Nasdaq didn't actually hit new lows with the Russell, so that was somewhat of a positive sign, and so far that has followed through this week. So as of right now, things are looking good with the overall markets. So, all right, let's talk a little biotech and a couple stocks I want to talk about today. As you may have seen, I wrote an article earlier this week highlighting Biogen, and it was based on IBD's 50. And Investors Business Daily comes out with their list of their 50 highly rated stocks. Okay, they use things such as profit growth, return on equity, sales growth, margins, all that kind of stuff. And of course, a couple of our favorites were in here. And right here you see Biogen. So thought we'd talk a little bit about that stock, take a look at what that's doing and what to watch for. In addition, you'll see another one that we're going to talk about today right here was Valeant Pharmaceuticals. And obviously we all know that's been in the news a lot lately here with the whole takeover war, with Allergen. So I thought these would be two great stocks to break down, take a look at today. So let's start with Biogen. Okay, a little pricier stock here, but several things that I would be watching on this particular stock. All right, now first off, you'll notice this prior trend line of support that the stock had, pretty good support, and once that level broke, floodgates kind of opened a little bit, and the stock continued to fall about another 40 points, clear down to this 270 area, which had also been a key level of support back here in December and January. All right, got a little bounce. And then over the last couple months, we'd been kind of consolidating within this textbook little triangle pattern. All right, now personally, I might have expected a break down out of that triangle. All right, and who knows? Time will tell. But actually, yesterday we broke up through the top of that triangle. All right, so who am I to argue with the market, right? So it would appear Biogen wants to go a little higher here. All right, so now assuming we can hold today, you can see right here we have actually bounced on the top of that triangle, the resistance, and kind of come off the top of that. And I think if we hold the 300 area, we would certainly expect to get a run higher, maybe 310, 320, and then we'll take it from there. Now down here, I don't like to throw too many momentum indicators up on the screen. I like to keep it as simple as we possibly can, but it certainly doesn't hurt to watch momentum. RSI is one of my favorite indicators to look at. And you'll notice Biogen, the RSI has been climbing this nice little trend line of support. All right, so something that might give you a heads up to some problems with the stock would be if we break that trend line. Okay, now we'd like to see that coincide with a price break as well, but keep an eye on that moving forward. Otherwise, momentum keeps traveling higher. Stock can hold this area above the triangle prior resistance. We should be seeing some higher prices here on Biogen. So now if we happen to fall back inside that triangle, then certainly we're going to start to watch this support that we had been bouncing on, and then below that we got 270. So those of you trading Biogen, these are some of the levels I'd be watching, and certainly is a stock that can move. So let's move on to Valeant here. Okay, this one is one of my favorite trading stocks in the biotech field, at least as far as the higher price ones go, because it's relatively standard moving here when we talk about these increments of these $5 amounts that very commonly are important to a lot of stocks. So first, you can see I've highlighted the 115 level. Okay, and you've noticed that in the past this 130, okay, showed up a lot. Support back here, resistance back here, support. Okay, so we obviously popped above it. Okay, we have now held it, and we're moving off that level quite nicely. All right, so I would think we're running to this 135 mark, and then of course you can see the 140 I've highlighted above. So trading this, I would take it a $5 increment at a time. As far as the news goes, you'll notice all in all the stock hasn't really been all that choppy and erratic and all over the place like we might expect when all these these data points in the news come out. So the stock seems to be taking these news, this event, this takeover in stride and being relatively slow and steady here. And so right now, if you're not in the stock, I'd be looking for a move above 135. Okay, try to get yourself a run to 140. Stock doesn't tend to be all that volatile, so you should be able to still get a good risk-reward play on this. All right, but again, if you like the higher price, you like the higher price biotech, certainly this is one that would be one to consider. So as far as the news goes, who knows? That's the risk we take if something comes out that makes the stock pop or drop. So, but anyway, so there's a couple biotechs for you. There's your biotech breakdown. And again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Friday for another biotech breakdown. Good luck in the trading. Have a great holiday weekend. Bye-bye.